Hey everybody, Lucas Haneman here. Welcome to this week's episode of Guitar Tone Tuesday, which was spurred on by a question that a viewer of the channel asked me. They said, Lucas, when do you choose to go for an expensive amplifier versus a cheap amplifier, and why? I would like to extend the question and ask, how much of a difference does it make in your sound? Do you, the viewers of this channel, choose to go for a more affordable amplifier or a more expensive amplifier? So on today's episode, I wanted to do a bit of a comparison between an extremely affordable amplifier and an amplifier that you'd have to save your hard-earned pennies to get. So what do we have? We have a Monoprice Stage Right 15, which I featured on the channel a couple of weeks ago. And we have this amplifier right here, which is my beloved Kingsley Bailey 30. The Monoprice is a 15-watt amplifier featuring two EL84 power tubes, a Celestion 7080 speaker. This amplifier right here is a 30-watt amplifier, switchable down to 15 watts, featuring four EL84 power tubes, and featuring a Celestion Gold speaker. So I thought, of course, that's kind of where the similarities end, right? But EL84s have a certain characteristic. Celestion speakers have a certain characteristic. Of course, there are going to be differences, but how intense are those differences when we listen to someone playing similar examples through both amplifiers? So that's exactly what we're going to do today. So before I blab on too much longer, I'm going to pick up my Melancon Custom Artist T, which is a Telecaster style guitar featuring wonderful pickups made by the great Craig Vineham from Newfoundland, Canada. These pickups are his rockabilly pickups, which are kind of a perfect cross between single coils and humbuckers. I thought I'd do that instead of picking up two separate guitars for you guys today. And let's listen to both amplifiers with some clean blues playing, starting with the Monoprice Stage Right 15 and then going into the Kingsley. Here we go. Before we hear another playing example, I want to ask you guys in the comment section below, how much of a difference did you guys hear with the clean playing? Was it substantial? In the room, there's a difference. Over the microphone, is there a real difference? I'm going to say this. Both amplifiers got the job done. Both sounded good. I'm going to give the edge to the Kingsley, because in the room it had more warmth. Now, how much of that warmth translated over the microphone, you guys are going to have to let me know. Here's something else that's very special about these two amplifiers. They both have master volume type situations. I know on the Monoprice it's gain and volume. On this amplifier it's a master volume and a volume. But what does that mean? Well, we can gain them up without pedals. So we don't need an overdrive pedal to get some juice from either amplifier. So let's go to the other end of the sonic spectrum and let's hear these two amplifiers again with the same guitar, but more gain. Once again, differences in the room, but I want to know how much of it translated over the microphones, in your opinion. Okay, so let's try to answer the initial question posed at the beginning of the video. When and why do I choose to use a nice handmade boutique amplifier? Let me start by saying this. Tone is in your hands. It's not in the gear you use. You could hand me a bouzouki, a mandolin, a steel string guitar, a nylon string guitar, a Les Paul, a Strat, a Flying V. I'm still going to sound like me. And the same goes for you. That being said, as players, if we work really, really, really hard to be the best musicians we can be, then I see amplifiers like this as a reward for hard work. And that's really what they should be, in my opinion. Of course, if you have a ton of money floating around you don't know what to do with, then go out and buy yourself anything you want. But for me, I've always made my living as a full-time musician, so I had to save and save for a few years to get this amplifier. And just to give you guys the backstory, I met Simon Jarrett, who's the builder of Kingsley amplifiers, at a festival that he and I were both students at, a jazz festival. We were both students at the jazz workshop there in British Columbia. Many years ago, and we really hit it off. Right before the final performance that we did at the festival, I was walking on stage and Simon said to me, "Hey, do you want to plug into my amp?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to try your amplifier." And then I had the most amazing experience I'd ever had in my life, this euphoric feeling, just with the best overdrive sound I'd ever experienced on stage that day. So I knew that I had to save up and buy one of his amplifiers. So I sold gear to get this thing. I saved and saved to get this thing. And to me, I will never regret that. So let's try to answer that initial question. So when do I choose to use a cheap amplifier? Or, let's say more affordable amplifier? Well, I choose to do that when I'm playing in a less than desirable situation. If I don't know what circumstances are going to be like, if I don't know what the atmosphere is going to be like, I'm not going to bring my nice gear. And it's really important to have options, right? So if I'm playing outside, I don't know if the stage is going to be covered or what the weather is going to be like, I'll bring a really affordable amplifier just because I don't want nice stuff like this to get damaged. When do I use amplifiers like this? Well, recording sessions, really important gigs, landmark events. This amplifier is loud, so if I'm ever playing a festival and backline isn't being provided, I will use this thing. No question. And I love it for what it is, absolutely. But to answer the question that I posed, how much of a difference do you hear? Well, the audience probably doesn't hear a huge difference, right? Especially the non-musicians. And to exemplify the point that I think that's really important here, you don't need nice gear to sound good. It's not going to solve your problems. And again, tone is really in the hands. I'm going to play you guys out on this. This is a Fender Deluxe 112 transistor amplifier. I featured this back on episode 56 about making a flattened, sterile sounding transistor amplifier sound decent. I'm going to play you guys out on this thing. I picked it up for $200 way back in the day when I was like 16 years old, and it's been everywhere. It's loud, and it sounds okay. But again, to just really drill home the fact that tone is here, it's not in the gear, I'm going to play you guys out on this. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tune in next week because episode 100 is going to be very, very special. We'll see everybody again next Tuesday.
Thank you.